show some support by liking and subscribing to the channel. Also, if you like Gundam and Mecha based content, be sure to check out my channel, TriloG Studios, linked in the description down below. We have Crisis Cole, who is predominantly a red player in Battle Spirits, and I generally play yellow. So I'm gonna start this one off with Forest Guardian Lauren, because she looks awesome. She's coming out of a flower, looking all cute, looking well endowed. Let me see here. Shoot. Wind summon ability. Place one core from your void onto each of your Emerald Sanctuary nexuses. End this spirit. I'm glad the fact that she says end this spirit. She just gives you a ramp if anything. Emerald Sanctuary says level 2. During either attack step, when one of your effects exhausts one of your opponent's spirits, select one of your spirits, it gains 2000 BP during the turn. It's just useful comparative to some of the other ones.
In terms of my rankings of like the actual sanctuary effects, it's probably for me, it's Ruby, Emerald, Diamond, and then
I think Topaz is last.
After that, it's like Amethyst and Topaz, they're there. Like, obviously, their effects can come up. I don't see myself actively trying to use it. At least with Ruby and Emerald, their effects actually are cohesive with what you're doing with the deck anyway. And then Diamond Sanctuary is just, you know, guaranteed reduction.
And second effect, when this spirit attacks or blocks, select two of your opponent's spirits that cost 3 or fewer, or one of your opponent's spirits that cost 6 or fewer, and exhausted. She already has the exhausting effects built in. This is pretty good. We either exhausting 2 little guys or 1 big dude. This card is solid. Coming down for only 4, giving you another core. If you can put 2 cores on this girl, she's gonna go to 5k, and we're already gonna be opened up. Obviously, you're running green, so you're gonna have your Thorn Prison on deck. But her coming down by herself, being able to just like move people out of her way, little bodies out of her way, or even 1 big dude, it's pretty good. And then for anyone else that she can't target, you have the magic cards. And her being a 5-cost X-Fair is pretty good, and I like this a lot. I would put this at like a 4. I would probably put her at 3 to 4 copies in my decks. Obviously, it needs the Emerald Sanctuary, at least for the top one.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, yeah,
essentially, this card is like, no matter what, I'll won. But if you happen to have the Emerald Nexus, then I'll have Power Ramp 2. I mean, guaranteed ramp, always good. The ability to stop yourself from being aggressed, absolutely fantastic. Let's see, it's a 5 cost, so I think you probably will end up seeing this card come down on like the 3rd turn or so, which is still pretty good because it has a when the spirit attack blocks effect, so it comes down and immediately it's kind of relevant. So I think it's pretty nice. It's a good mid-range kind of card for green.
And the card art is beautiful. So
and that too. Got the flower petals on deck.
I'm looking at the
I think it's
anyways, next.
I would probably give it a 4. It's kind of weird. So the only thing I don't like about it is that they gave it a trait that doesn't align with like the Blade Beast or the Insectoid / Carapite archetype.
That's what I'm fine with. I'm fine with that because it's just such a good card on its own of what it does. So like it doesn't really have to deal with that. And of course, it's just probably the start.
But synergy.
I get synergy, and that's kind of like how the bird folk started with yellow, right? Like this is just the beginning of it, and she's probably gonna be the most basic version of it. But like I just think this card is overall just super solid. All right, let's go into the crazy guy. We have this Bloodborne character here.
He used to be crazy, not anymore.
Oh yeah, he used to be literally godlike until his ability was banned here. So we have the Jaeger, and he has Gale at 2.
Is he wearing a hat? That's godlike.
Yes, he's literally a Bloodborne character here. And during your attack step, when one of your spirits with Gale, other than this guy, reduces your opponent's life, refresh this spirit. He's like, okay, I don't want to auto refresh all the time, so I'm gonna have to pick someone else. So Gale is a pretty strong effect that like we haven't really, at least I haven't seen much of. I don't think many players have seen much of Gale, but just reading it, it's just really good. It has essentially just like a Thorn Prison kind of built in kind of deal, right?
So Gale tends to get better the longer the game goes on because the lower you get on life, the more times you are forced to block things, which means that Gale has more opportunities to have its thing do what it needs to. There's another card, I don't believe it's on here, but there's another card that goes with Gale. Gives you cores based on the number of Gale. Like it ranks based on the number of Gale.
Like if it's Gale 2, you get 2 cores?
Yeah.
Be interesting. The last ability is where it's at here, and now once I tell you, we're gonna see why this is broken but not broken anymore. So refresh this spirit when your opponent uses one of their effects to draw a card. So we had this card called Godlike, obviously Netherworld Depths essentially draws a card when anything is suspended. He himself would suspend, your opponent is forced to draw that card, and then he would, well, restand. And he'll just keep doing that until your opponent is dead, or unless they have some kind of infinite blocker or some way of stopping this guy. And if they don't, well, they die. And yeah, I would almost allow my opponent to play Netherworld Depths if I had this guy in my hand. So that's it. It is on 5 cores, and so I don't see that ability right now being extremely useful. Obviously, like, your opponent has to watch how they draw cards.
It's still pretty good against purple. So like purple can't just like block him with Aglavale with the soul core on it. So they like block, draw a card. Hold on.
We standing back up. Yeah.
And then it's got Gale too, so it's like, okay, you blocked. All right, where's the other 2?
My goodness. Yeah, so this is pretty good. And his stats is pretty alright. Him coming down for only 3 reduction for 3, so maybe 1 core.
7,000 at 3 is very good.
I think this card is like a 4. Because I don't know how relevant the last ability will be right now. I know he's probably a purple killer. He's a Blade Beast. He's a Blade Beast.
Hurricane High Winds. During main step, when one of your spirits with Gale is summoned, place a number of cores from the void onto that spirit equal to the specified gift. Essentially, once you have this thing down, anytime you summon anything with Gale, so like, let's use Jaeger as an example, just for playing him 2 cores, even if you only were going to summon him and put 1 core, you're basically going to put him into the range for him to have cores on himself. So he'll be at 7,000. I just want to do a small side track so he can, because that card also gauges how powerful the card is. The fact that you get your cores back off of it. So yeah, I would say in terms of Gale, I think Gale as a keyword is pretty strong. Yes. I don't know how strong it's going to be in the new landscape of things, but I would say it's good enough for me to say it's probably going to be like, this is probably going to be the main card in Gale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, clearly, obviously.
Well, him and obviously, you know, the 10 cost. That's for me is going to be like what I build my Gale deck around, because that is probably going to be one of the decks I build in set 3.
I think Gale is just like, it just makes this like the aggressive side of green. So you have the exhausting, the control side, the ramping side, and we just like go to sleep side, right? And that is what makes green. I'm curious. I want to see a competitive green deck that's like super scary, so you can't just wall off against it like a lot of decks tend to do. But all right, let's move on to the new stuff here. We'll start with the Truth God Mandala.
Oh boy.
I heard he's
the blue card.
Interested in seeing our review of the remaining colors? Then hit that subscribe button and notification bell. That way you'll be notified as soon as that video becomes available.
Can't make a promise, but I do my best. 25 sitting on 25 racks. Just got started, no we ain't done yet. Bought a new crib, that's a goddamn flex. Sign that check. Told him last year that I've been up next. Can't take calls, but I send that text from way downtown, but the shit's still wet. Yeah, that's a guarantee. King of the city,